Hello, this is Richard Bruce, and this is yet another Gengstalking report upload that I got starting in February of 2013 for uploading reptilian shapeshifter movies to YouTube. Now, to the person who is seeing this for the first time, I want to preempt this by saying I know it looks crazy. It looks like paranoia. It looks like mental illness. But I can tell you, on a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being no chance and 10 being metaphysical certitude as to whether this is happening or not, this is a 10, and I challenge anybody to come and talk with me and see it for themselves to find out. What I found out is, and is apparently true, because there's no other reason for me to get a psychological warfare campaign against me that is so weird you can't even believe human beings are behind it, because they're not. Now, here's what happened. I uploaded my first full report after seeing this subject on YouTube. That's all I did. I had nothing else unusual before that. I was working as an office worker and a graphic artist, part-time, living in a small apartment in Woodland Hills. Now, I discovered this on YouTube. I uploaded my first report that I did, which is a study of the movie The Matrix with Keanu Reeves. And I had seen a movie that somebody else did studying that footage of the movie and seeing non-human features in it, and I was very familiar with this movie. It was an occult classic, or a cult classic I should say, but not an occult classic, but you know, that's what it could be, because there's also all kinds of pyramids and stuff in it, symbols in it and so forth, but it really is kind of like a waking up movie. You know, it's almost like if that movie is created by the serpents or the devils, it's like that movie is made to give humans a clue who want to wake up. You know, the red pill, you take the red pill if you want to know the truth about what's going on, but if you do, you're going to be a target. And that's what I became. I had heard the term targeted individuals, TIs, just loosely, you know, as I looked at various things, but I never knew what it was. Had no idea until it happened to me, okay? So what happened was I uploaded my first movie to YouTube, okay? And I sure enough, there was non-human features in it, claws, fangs, reptilian tiles, weird discoloration. You only see it. I've been watching this movie many times since it came out. For years and years, never saw a thing wrong until somebody pointed out, and when you go through it slowly, in particular, frame by frame, then you really see it. And what I found out was that it's apparently either reptilian shapeshifters and or demonic distortion. That is, the camera somehow picks up on indwelling spiritual beings, okay? I know this is too weird to be true, but it is. I mean, there's absolutely zero chance there's isn't non-humans involved, whatever they are, okay? And I can't say I know for sure what they are, but I believe, and it matches everything with serpents in the Bible, okay? When it says serpents, when the God says to the serpent, you are more cursed above all the beasts of the field for having corrupted Eve and talked her into eating the fruit that she's not supposed to eat. Well, that was actually a bipedal lizard man, okay? That was in existence long before Adam came into being. However, I also learned that there are other human beings besides Adam that came into being. Now, here's the story, okay? So I uploaded this thing to YouTube, okay? Had no idea any of this would happen. I uploaded this stuff to YouTube, and guess what? All of a sudden, I got helicopters zooming overhead, and I'm like, at first they were hovering, like 5 or 6 of them, right above my apartment in Woodland Hills. It was right across from the Topanga Mall, okay? 6670 Glade, okay? That's where I was living. And when I noticed these helicopters, I'm like, oh, there must be a drug bust in the building, okay? Because I mean, you know, that's what it is, or you know, somebody's gone nuts with a gun or something like that, you know, because they're like hovering there for a long time. It's really like, bah, 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 you know, and they're like, everybody's like, oh man, you know, something's going down. And then, but then, as the day wore on, you know, I didn't notice anything happening. I didn't see anybody getting arrested or any other cops or anything. And then as the day wore on, I kept getting helicopters zooming in like this right over my apartment. Like it's almost like they were dive bombing. And this kept happening so much that I finally go, oh my God, there's something going on here. And then I just it took me a while, like towards the end of the day, it just kept on happening. I'm like, oh my God, you know, does this have something to do with what I uploaded to YouTube? Because it was so weird. I have never seen anything like this. I've been looking for any cool paranormal footage, UFO footage, Bigfoot footage, anything, you know, sky anomalies, whatever, you know. And this, when I noticed these non-human features, as I took apart the movie The Matrix with Keanu Reeves, frame by frame and saw all of these. I mean, massive, like a 4-digit thing with each digit had like 2 fingers thick and a big talon like a bird or a reptile coming out of it. Okay, and now I know that this is so weird that until it took me like 2 months of even just looking right at it to even begin to believe this could be true. But more importantly, this gang stalking that has now lasted over 5 years against me is apparently a government-sanctioned program to minimize, destroy, separate from society, cause to commit suicide. See, I believe that they sent somebody right away to kill me, and I was protected because I was a Christian, okay? I believe they came to eat me. Psalm 27:2, when my enemies and my foes came to eat up my flesh, they stumbled and fell, God's word says, okay? This was Paul Walker and his serpent friend in their $500,000 Porsche, somewhere like about 20 minutes away from me, Santa Clarita or something like that. They were on their way. They crashed into the only gas line in the area and burned alive. And from then, the serpents, as I now understand, these lizard men that live among us and eat people, that's really important. Cursed above all the beasts of the field, God says to them, dust shall you eat all the days of your life. Adam was made of the dust. Somebody emailed that to me. I didn't have the brains to figure it out myself, but I might have figured it out after a million years. Anyway, the point is that we are not in control of our society, okay? You think that humans are in control. We're completely duped, is what I found out. All the news is a lie. The reason it's all a lie is because they want to keep humans ignorant of the fact that we got non-humans living among us and apparently in us as spirit beings and spirit attachment beings. Their whole purpose is all for this one leader, Satan, a former fallen angel. Yes, it's not a fairy tale. The biggest thing Satan ever pulled off was to convince people he doesn't exist. Everybody thinks that's just a bunch of religious bull. Well, it turns out it's actually true. And his whole goal it's incomprehensible. Susan Reed has a book, The Body Snatchers by Susan Reed. This reptilian told her that was attached to her in spirit form, said, you will not understand the way reptilians think. If you try to assign a human motive to these beings, you're not going to get it. These are demons, devils. They really are devils because they work for the devil and they are of his spirit and they want to destroy man any way they can, and they want to do it with his own choices. Corruption, homosexuality, that's a severe sin. Anything stealing, but it's disguised as being a contractor, and selling cars and real estate and all this. Every single occupation I found out, it's all a corruption. It's all to get your soul to continue in sin, to be further away from God, and to end up in hell with them because they hate humanity and they're working harder than Christians who know this are to corrupt as many people as they can, and they'll do anything to interrupt and corrupt, as you saw there. But I don't know if that was for sure, but I don't want to make people think that I'm paranoid and every little thing is coming against me. But you will experience, if you experience what I experienced, unbelievable stuff, literally unbelievable. But the point is, this is a government-run program. When you're seeing these helicopters, I'm not just shooting every helicopter that flies over. Oh yeah, look at their gang stalking me, they're following me around. Oh, total paranoia. No, if this was happening to you, I challenge and I've continued to challenge anybody who wants to come and spend a couple of weeks with me and see for yourself. Okay, but they do mitigate it at some. But I was with another TI and they were really doing it. He's like, wow, you weren't kidding when you were uploading these videos, because he's like, man, I never seen so many helicopters buzzing overhead. It's like a drug bust or something going on. But it's important to include. I do not have any priors. I do not have any questionable associations. I do not have any previous mental illness. I never had anybody following me around or anything weird like this happening before. This is the weirdest thing that's ever happened to me in my life. So this is when you're seeing these helicopters, this is a report, and what I'm showing, and I don't just shoot every single one that goes overhead. I can tell when it's a gang stalking, when they're following me around, buzzing directly overhead when I enter into an establishment. They have all kinds of ways to make it low. They do the special kind of noise, and I found out they have holograms that look exactly and sound exactly, and the vibration is exactly like a real one. See John Lear for that, of the Learjet family. That's where he's from. He was a test pilot and everything. He says they have holograms that you cannot you know, you think, you know, somebody else was saying, no, I saw it, I felt the vibration in my chest. Okay, they have holographic technology that can do it. This is why they're keeping the news. This is why they're suppressing the free energy. We've had 0-point energy for over 100 years. Nikola Tesla drove a car all around the perimeter of California, the entire state, on no gas, just sucking energy from the air with this coil. And we've had all this technology, and many people have found it and discovered it, and we would have had free, clean energy that would have freed up the air from all this pollutions and stuff. But the non-humans that run our world, it's not just the government. See the movie They Live. That movie is like based on reality. I mean, John Carpenter got it perfect, just about, with the only thing that's missing out of that movie is that they eat humans. That's the big secret. That's what's unbelievable. It's just like the whole vampire thing where they need blood. Okay, guys, this is it. This is where all those vampire lore comes from. The reason why they're cursed above all the beasts of the field, there's all different kinds. There's insectoids, there's feline, you know, actual bipedal feline, you know, those things, the paintings in Egyptian where you see a dog head and a bird head. There's actually, those aren't like depictions or symbolic of gods. These are what they actually look like. They are a bipedal being with a bird head, with a dog head or a wolf head, a feline head, and they have ones with an alligator head. It looks just like an alligator. There's all different varieties of this being. There's so many you can't believe it. The reason we don't see them, the reason we don't interact with them all the time, a few people are in the know, is because there's a grid shield around the earth. This is a cattle ranch. We are living in a false reality. Please, friends, fellow human beings, realize I'm not crazy. I'll challenge anybody, any psychologist, psychiatrist, anybody who wants to sit down and talk with me. I'll prove I'm sane, and this is really happening. They do these covert programs to try to drive people crazy and make them look crazy. If you complain to the police, they'll send you to a psych ward, they'll drug you up, and then you're finished. Or they'll drive you crazy. They have something called bull baiting, and so they'll piss you off, keep pissing you off, and finally you'll rage, you'll break the law, then they can throw you in jail, inject you with medicines, and you're finished. Okay, don't go to the police. Don't go crazy. You got to just report this. Get a video camera and report it like I'm doing here. Also, look at this rainbow. Wow. How about that? It's like it stops in midair. We got our night flyby. Chances are, oh, what do you know? No pedestrians to make me look like a freak. Here he comes. Okay, look at this. Been hearing the build-up noise for a while. It's what they like to do. And he's going to go for his nice slow fly over here. So all the people in this area have to listen to this helicopter flying over like this. Guaranteed you won't see this in the Woodland Hills area. Look at this guy directly overhead. This is a Los Angeles Police Department vehicle used for psychological warfare for material that I uploaded to YouTube showing reptilian shapeshifters, that is man-eating lizard men living among us. I'm pretty sure I have it right by this reaction that you get with law enforcement vehicles that your taxes are paying for. Also, as a side note, the activity that I got stepped up quite a bit after I talked with Jan Brennan, who's like she's like a my lab, and so an abductee, contactee, aliens, demons, whatever. And also I saw helicopters that I haven't seen before, and I saw two people yesterday that appear to be like, you know, I don't know, maybe it was just coincidence, but never seen anything like that before. People standing there with sunglasses, like staring at me in the sky. Like I moved over to get something out of my car, and like followed me around, and then like stood there watching me. And then later on in the coffee shop, a guy with the same kind of glasses, maybe it was even the same guy, I don't know, but just standing there staring at me like he knew me. And I hadn't experienced that before. This is the first time. I've never experienced anything face to face. I've had the feeling that some of these police that I've been sitting with or seen face to face know who I am, and they're in on it. They know the whole thing. but I've never had any confrontation, never had anybody like follow me on the street or any street theater or anything, minus vehicular. So it's either in a LAPD vehicle or a helicopter or something like that. But I've never gotten in your face like a lot of people have got. A lot of targeted individuals have experienced.
Okay, the closest to Reptilian I've seen, Dr. Stephen Greer. Can I tell you that story?
You can. Go right ahead, please.
Okay, 2009. This is a year before I saw the tall white. Remember I told you as soon as I moved to Denver, I started dreaming of ETs. And they were telling me that there are good ETs and bad ETs. They showed me a picture in my mind of a bunch of UFOs in the right side of the sky and a bunch of other UFOs in the left side of the sky. And, who is the most evil man in the world who is vice president to Bush? Cheney. They showed a picture of Cheney, and he had something to do with negative ETs in this vision I had, in these recurring dreams. So, after all these dreams, I went to my computer one morning and it said, Dr. Stephen Greer is doing a UFO field trip in Denver, and do you want to join? I was given an invitation out of the blue to join this UFO field trip. I think he calls them SETI contact. He calls it something else.
Yeah, contact in the desert.
That's what he calls it now. He didn't then. This was 2009.
Oh, yeah, right. Forget what he called it. Yeah, but I know what you're talking about.
He called it like UFO field trip. I may be wrong about that. But for some reason I thought, oh my God, I have to go because I was dreaming of these ETs asking me to work for the light and fight the bad ETs, right? And I just had those dreams every night for a week, and then I get this email. So I go to watch. Okay, first he does this presentation and training session with us, and there were 50 of us in a circle, and Dr. Greer is in the middle, okay? This is where I'm getting to the reptilian part. He's got his back to me, and I'm sitting there thinking, this guy has the biggest balls I've ever seen. I don't like him, okay? And it's very clear, I do not like this man. I get a bad vibe from him, right? Richard, I'm thinking, this man has big balls. He whips around, looks straight at me, and says, it takes big balls to do this work.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. I slinked down in my seat. And I was so red. I mean, I could feel my face was so hot. And he said, my ET friends watch out for me. They will kill for me. And he's looking at me.
And he said that verbally to you?
Verbally to me, in front of everybody. But like I said, all I thought was this guy has a lot of balls, or big balls, or something like that.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I hated him, and
you just got that. And you didn't even have an encounter. You just didn't like. You just got a bad vibe from him.
Did not like him. Didn't like him. Didn't like him. When he turned around and yelled at me, I swear he looked like a lizard, and I had never heard of reptilians.
So his actual appearance.
Shifted. His appearance, he got angry, and it's like his face looked like the face of a dinosaur lizard thing. And he didn't fully change, but it's almost like an overlay over his face. It almost looked like, and I thought, oh my God! Like I said, I had never heard of reptilians ever.
All right, we got our early morning buzz. Not too common these days. That's your ABC-7 chopper.
In And I remember, I'll swear on a stack of Bibles, I remember a lizard man in that office. It was His Highness Draco something. I can't remember the other name. And he was about 6 foot, 7 foot tall, had sort of like scaly skin, humanoid. He walked erect like we do. He had 2 arms, 2 legs. He had a tail, but it really didn't show most of the time. He had somewhat of a humanoid face, strange eyes, a big mouth, and, you know, looked like what you would expect if you're going to put together a lizard man. There was a being on Star Trek called the Gorn that Captain Kirk fought on this planet. This man that I worked next to sort of resembled that being. Now,
how did that strike you?
I didn't.
That would
have
have to be a traumatic experience. No, not you.
I didn't have that much to do with it. I call it it. I'm not sure whether it was he or she. But I didn't have that much to do with it.
But you accepted his presence as something normal for...
What else do you do? You're working next to this thing.
True.
You know, it's, how are you? Hi, you know, that sort of
Want to go out
thing.
for coffee and donuts?
He spoke in a hissy voice, you know, hissed a lot. And sort of sounded like he was loud whispering most of the time.
Helicopter approaching for a buzz. Helicopter approaching for what appears to be a buzz. Here he comes on a trajectory for a passover. Got the noise all set up so as it will be noticed. Okay, what you see here is the security vehicle was waiting for me as I was exiting the mall, and then he circles around and does their usual tactic of slowing down and almost stopping as he drives by while I'm putting my stuff in my car, so as to make me seem like the security threat in the area. And what you see here is right when I had the camera in the car and on, and I pointed it at him, and right when I did that, then he resumed speed. Watch this.
In the police station, when he was being held down and the sergeant came over, he said the sergeant shapeshifted in front of him, turned into a reptile, and then came back to human, and then shapeshifted again and returned.
You see here in Psalm 17:15, it says, "As for me, I will behold thy face." You see, God has a face. See, this is the Spirit talking to God. "I will behold thy face in righteousness. I shall be satisfied when I awake with thy likeness. I believe this is when she is redeemed in Babylon. It says, because the scripture says that she will be redeemed in Babylon. See Micah 4 for that. And then we see here, and this is why I think that she is a blonde. See Micah, Psalm 21:3. For thou preventest him with the blessings of goodness. I believe that's the Holy Spirit. Thou settest a crown of pure gold on his head. Now, this may mean regular gold, but I think it actually means. I think this is telling us. This is my theory, just my theory, that it is in fact because it's a blonde. She has golden hair, pure gold. Okay, so this helicopter here flew right at me as I was entering this area here. Flew right from this area and flew right at me as I was entering in. Probably a hologram would be my guess. Another hologram. Or just holograms, I think.
Okay, what are the physical characteristics of the Alpha Draconians? What do they look like?
I don't have that. Maybe it's in the car. They're ugly. I mean, they think we're ugly, too. You know, and I guess it's all a matter of perspective and belief system. In my belief system, and I'm only taking responsibility for me, they're ugly. They're anywhere from 7 to 22 feet tall. They can weigh up to 1,800 pounds.
Helicopter approaching. Okay, got you direct overhead, black and white. Silver and blue, LAPD. Looks like. But finally, after almost 2 years, I got the parking guy comes and marks my tire, and he's got written here 523. Hey guys, just wanted to report that things might be coming to a head. I'm getting a little bit of a feeling that this person I'm talking to and some other things are starting to culminate. And just wanted to let you know spontaneously that I'm getting a feeling with this parking assault thing that and the stuff that this other TI that I was talking to, in fact I'm talking to 2 TIs right now, and but one of them I think has some high up connections and connections to off-world elements, and they are very much motivated to keep me from contacting that person. And so it looks like maybe there's a possibility that they're gonna really attack me here. And so just letting you know that if something goes wrong, or you don't see me around or something, just wanted to update on that. That this is some of the most gnarly attack I've gotten, or just the feeling I'm getting from it, just from because of what was happening to this other person. And I call that person person Q. And so just to protect their identity, and because they don't want to go public at this time. And by the way, I encourage you all to go public, because I don't see, in my opinion, you're better off sharing it, because you can actually keep them from, if you're a high public profile, it's going to be a little harder to douche you. So I would just say, go ahead, man, rock it, share it all, and so anyway, yeah, it's pretty gnarly, and what's happening to this other person, and what happening to me is not that big, but I've been parked here for over 2 years, no problem. I know a little bit under 2 years, and have not had any problem until that one assault that I just told you about just recently. And then, but just as I was talking to that person about the problem of homelessness and being a TI and everything, then this happens. That first strike from the somebody probably complained. All right, so yeah, now I'm moving my RV here, and I now have to move it. You know, I've got to move it every 72 hours. I didn't have to do that before. I think somebody complained. I think those people that assaulted my RV may have complained, or maybe it's my enemies wanting to play hardball now. Also, because I'm talking to a TI who's also an abductee and wants to tell me her story. And so, in any case, sorry, that was a tough turn. So, you know, now life's gotten harder no matter what. I mean, they chase me around here like a sore bird, you know. Helicopter directly overhead. Direct overhead. Okay, so we got this helicopter once again following me out here. Same one that was tracking me before. See, it appears to be flying in a circle around the area. And this is increased activity. Haven't seen that model before since I started talking with Jan Brennan. Okay, so as you can see, they have demonetized my channel, and that was for using clips from the movie They Live. And they do have the right to do this because I did monetize that movie, and but it had clips from They Live, so they have a you know, a legal claim, you know, to say that, and so in any case, live and learn. But as a matter of fact, I was never going to monetize my channel to begin with. The only reason I did it was because I realized they were blocking my channel. It was getting so few views, but when I monetized, I would get more. And I thought, well, I would try it anyway. And it has provided half my income for the last 3 years. But now you can reapply, but I think they are going to permanently demonetize. I don't think they're going to allow me to monetize any movies, so I'll have to remonetize any movies, and any movies that I have, any media from commercial media, I will not be able to include. So anyway, just letting you guys know that, and as a lesson learned, a lot of other paranormal channels, they do not use clips from like the movie They Live or Aliens or something else. But I happen to think that they are important to making points, and there's the owners of that media, if they don't file a copyright strike against you, will allow it in a lot of cases. Like for instance, John Carpenter and They Live. I've never had a copyright strike filed against me by any of the movie owners or whatever. So you can still use it, but just remember that you cannot monetize it.
It's a new morning in America. Fresh, vital. The old cynicism is gone. We have faith in our leaders. We're optimistic as to what becomes of it all. It really boils down to our ability to accept. We don't need pessimism.
They have taken the hearts and minds of our leaders. They have recruited the rich and the powerful, and they have blinded us to the truth. And our human spirit is corrupted. Why do we worship greed? Because outside the limit of our sight, feeding off us, perched on top of us from birth to death, are our owners. Our owners They have us. They control us. They are our masters. Wake up. They're all about you, all around you.
If you're watching this, it's not too late. Say this prayer now. Father in heaven, please save my soul by the work of your Son Jesus on the cross, and show me your pure words in the authorized King James Bible.
And I remember, I'll swear on a stack of Bibles, I remember a lizard man in that office.